This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and this is a Tay Short episode 5. But before I get into the episode, I want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone I interviewed. Thank you to everyone who listened, and thank you to those who will listen in the future. Season 2 was an awesome season, just like season 1 was an awesome season. So, thank you. Alright, so let's get into this episode. I want to talk about my recent stay at Getaway Tiny Home Cabins in Moodus, Connecticut. Moodus, Connecticut is about 2.5 hours away from New York City. You can find out all the locations of the tiny home cabins if you go to getaway.house. And if that's not the website, just Google Getaway Tiny Houses or Getaway Tiny Cabins, and it'll pop up. Shout out to Leah for telling me about this and also telling me about the location in Moodus, because, like I said, they have them all over. I would have looked in the Catskills. Now, I do want to go to the Catskills. And I do want to check out other ones, but the Catskills was a little expensive. It was more expensive than going to Moodus, so I opted to go to Moodus instead. But if you go during the week like I did, it is cheaper. And I just recently checked, and the prices for the Catskills were reasonably priced. Like, they were cheaper. I was like, all right, cool, I could do this. But just the time I was going, Moodus actually worked in the pricing. Anyway, so if you Google or YouTube, Getaway Tiny Home Cabins, you can see a bunch of videos. I recently put one up. If you just, YouTube Rolling with Tay, I guess my page should pop up. If not, I'm going to put it in the show notes anyway. But you'll see my video of my cabin. So you can check that out. And if you follow me on Instagram at Rolling with Tay, I have photos of my cabin as well. So here's how it works, right? So the check-in time and check-out time are the same as a hotel. But the process of checking in is different. So you have to check. You can check in after 3, and you have to check out before 11. Once you book your tiny cabin, you'll get a text message leading up to the day that you arrive. You get all the information, your actual cabin. Now, the cabins are named after the grandparents of the getaway staffers. So my cabin was named Raymond. So I didn't get that name until the morning of. And I didn't get the code until the morning of. So you don't get all that until the morning of. Or not even morning of. They say about 30 minutes before you can check in. So once you get that, you know that you can go ahead and, check in. And when you arrive, you'll go to your cabin, which is located in the outpost. The outpost is the community, I guess, of the cabins. In Moodus, there are 45 tiny home cabins throughout the outpost. So you'll just follow the signs for your cabin, and you'll follow, the names. They're they were in alphabetical order, and got to the cabin, type in the code, and there I go. I was in my, I entered. I got there about 3:45. Unloaded, unwind, cooked, read my book, and went to sleep. that was my night. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about what's in the cabin. There's, of course, a queen size bed. There's a shower, there's a toilet, there's a sink, there are 2 electric burners, there's a mini fridge, telephone, Wi-Fi. Depending on where you're located or where your cabin is located, you may not have the best service. So, with that said, you might be using that telephone to get in contact with the staff or if there's an emergency while you're in the cabin. What else? There is books. They have books there. They have some playing cards. There's a table, chair, a bench on the opposite side. Cooking utensils, eating utensils, bowls, plates, a pot, a pan. I think that's pretty much fire extinguisher. I think that's pretty much it. Each cabin comes with this cell phone lockbox. It's just a wooden box where they suggest you put your phone in and disconnect from technology while you're there. And that's exactly what I did. So I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, threw it in that box, and like I said, read my book. There is no microwave. So keep that in mind. There is really no space. So try not to bring a lot of luggage. Try not to bring a lot of stuff. If you're one of those people that bring a lot of stuff, you're going to have to keep some of it in your car because there's not a lot of room there. There's some room on top of the cabinet that you can put things on. But I just, most people are coming for a weekend, so you really shouldn't need to bring a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's definitely my suggestion. What else? Outside the cabin, there's a picnic table, there's chairs, there's a fire pit / a grill. So if you want to throw some hamburgers on the grill or shish kebabs or just sit around a campfire, you can do that because there is firewood in a container outside of the tiny home. I did none of that. But maybe the next one I go to, I will. So, yeah. This was a good trip. I went by myself, so it was a solo trip. I had a good time just relaxing, reading, looking at the view of the woods, nature. Now, the cabins are not deep in the woods. They're not. I went hiking Thursday and Friday, and I was in the woods. That was the woods. These cabins are not in the woods. The cabins are, to me, good spacing. You can see the cabins around you, but they're not close up. So that's good. That someone is next door to you. But you don't have to, you're not going to hear them. Unless you're sitting outside, maybe, and they're really loud, you probably hear them if they're also outside. But there is a small nature hike and a dog park on the premises. Again, I'm just talking about the one in Moodus. I'm sure there's a dog park and a nature hike in all of them, but I don't know how large they are. The one in Moodus the nature hike was really small, but it was nice and easy, What else? I think this is a good trip for solo travelers. Single people, solo travelers, couples, friends. And my hesitation is, I think it's a good trip for anybody to go to and go on. and a great experience being in this tiny cabin in the woods, and it's cool. But it is a tiny cabin. So, this is a small space. Just know who you're traveling with. Be comfortable with whom you're traveling with. Like the people. Because I'm telling you, just be familiar and their traveling styles, because again, this is a small space. You're just going to be spending a lot of time with this person if you're in the cabin, you in close quarters with them. You know what I'm saying? So take that into consideration on with whom you're going with. I mentioned there's a sink. There's one sink. Again, you're brushing your teeth in that sink. You are washing dishes in that sink. The sink is not too far from the burner. So I'm making breakfast and you're brushing your teeth right there. You have to coordinate. That's what you're going to have to do. You have to coordinate. So with anybody you go on the trip with, you're going to have to coordinate. You're just going to do some, it'll be fine. So it's definitely a good trip to take and an experience. And you have fun. Even if you go by yourself, I had a great time. I wish I would have extended my stay. Had one extra day so I could relax, because I went hiking Thursday. I went hiking Friday as I was leaving. If I had that extra day, if I had that Friday to come back and relax and sleep in, that'd have been good. Because I was up early both days. I was excited. Just sitting outside the cabin Thursday morning. I was taking pictures. I was amped, and then I hit the road and went hiking. So when you check in, you get like a little welcome guide. They tell you getaways, like cabin rules. They tell you what's in the area, markets, parks, how far they are. Give you important numbers in case of an emergency. I already knew I wanted to go to this state park, which is a 16-minute drive. So I already knew where I wanted to go. But the guide was helpful because, okay, the market is 4 minutes away. This market is 6 minutes away, so that was good. It is a small town, and probably most of the places that the Getaway Tiny Home Cabins are, they're probably in small towns. So just keep that in mind. Definitely bring what you need. Don't bring a lot, but bring what you need. Just bring what you need for the 2 or 3 nights that you're there. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I had a really good time disconnecting, reading, relaxing, looking at the views. There were a lot of people there. It's a little surprising because I went on a Wednesday. So, I was like, oh, dang, all these people had the same idea as me. I wasn't really scared. And the only reason I say I wasn't really scared is because the first night it rained. And the raindrops were hitting the doorknob. And I was like, is somebody trying to break in? For like 2 minutes, I was like, damn, what the hell? What is that? But I knew in the back of my mind, no one was trying to break in, but it was just that, like, I'm in the woods. And, but I quickly got over that. And again, nobody was trying to break in. And trust me, the next night, I didn't have nothing. I went right to sleep. I didn't think nobody was trying to break in. I went right to sleep. I felt safe. I also travel with, pepper spray and a taser and multi-tool. Like, hopefully I don't have to use any of this stuff, but I do travel with things. And it's just like traveling, walking around in the Bronx, So, just just to have something, just in case something does happen. But I felt safe. Again, I wasn't really scared, and I would recommend this trip for anybody. Again, solo travelers, couples, groups of friends, people who like each other, who can stand being in the same space with each other. I think you can only have a maximum of 4 to a cabin anyway. I don't see how you can get more in a cabin. I don't see why more than 4 people would want to be in one cabin. But you can find all that information out on their website. Again, check out my video and other videos of the cabin so you can see what's in it. Yeah. I hope this was helpful to anybody thinking about it or anybody just finding out about it and now you want to look more into it. Yep. Tell them Tasia sent you. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm out of here. This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, a.k.a. Tay, and thanks for listening.